What is up, everybody? Triforce Caboose here. I hope you all are having a wonderful day today. If you can hear my voice right now, then you have stumbled into another episode of Go Figure. This is my part of the internet where I am your host, and I take you through all things action figures, statues, bust, or anything of the sort, but I won't run my mouth too long. If you want to catch me on any other part of the internet, all the links to my socials are down below. But without me running my mouth, let's get right into today's video. But I hope to see you around, hope you're doing well, and look forward to chatting with you soon. Be safe and be good people, my friends. What is up, guys? Triforce Caboose here. Hope everybody's doing well today. Bringing you another episode of Go Figure as we take a look at the Diamond Select Toys Castlevania anime Sypha figure. I'm a huge fan of Castlevania and a huge fan of the anime. I'm called up to date on that. I don't even really watch a ton of shows nowadays, so it says something to me whenever something catches my attention enough for me to actually go through. I've been looking at this figure, honest to God, you guys, I've been looking at this figure in my local GameStop for months and months and months. I saw some issues that I had with it initially, even through the window box packaging, so I neglected picking it up. It's gone on to clearance, and I figured if I'm having some issues trying to decide if I should buy it, I'm sure other people might be as well. So I finally said, screw it, let's do it. I picked it up. Now let's get into this and see if it's actually worth the buy. So let's get it off the card, off the stand, and into my hand. Alright guys, here is Sypha out of the packaging. We're going to go into her gigantic plethora of interchangeable hands. Sorry, that was out of focus. Here in a minute, but I just want to tell you guys, so my very early impressions on this figure is just not super great. Haven't tried to take off any interchangeable hands yet, just kind of moving it around in my hands, and I'm not very impressed. We'll go into that in a minute. It looks okay from a distance. I don't necessarily know that it captures all the likeness of the show, but it's not awful at a distance. But once you get up close and you start trying to move this thing around, you'll find out real quick something ain't right. What a terrible night to have a curse. Alright, let's get her off the stand and into the hand and take a look at her hands that are all over the place. So one thing I will give this figure is it comes with an absolute assortment of hands that can go on to Sypha. Now, I did pull her fisted hands out of the slots so that way I could get them tracking alongside her other hands for this review, and getting these hands out proved to be a nightmare. The hands are definitely the best part of this figure so far, and we'll go through the likeness, the articulation, and everything in just a moment, but these hands felt incredibly fragile. I didn't even know if I was going to get the fisted hands that she came with out before things were to get messy and broken. So that being said, let's set her to the side and take a look, starting with the hands that she comes with. Her fisted hands are up first, and very simple. I mean, they're hands, they're sculpted well, they're painted well. I don't see any blemishes in my paint or anything like that. Articulation wise, all these will just be on a basic hinge, and I'll go forward and back. The hinge feels, maybe just because it's so small, it does feel incredibly wobbly, but not a lot of issues with her hands. Up next on her list of hands are these kind of grunged out grabbing hands. Maybe a little clawing hand, little pose in the middle, which I don't understand how this would be a pose because her arms are just not going to go that far. We'll get into that in a minute. Up next, we got a set of 3 to talk about. I'll talk about these 2 first, which are just her little rock and roll hands that she'll use whenever she goes to the shows and gets in the pit. Honestly, these are just her little spellcasting hands. They look great. Honestly, the hands on this figure are my favorite thing about it, so I'll be gushing about the hands here in a little bit. And she also comes with this one, which is mid-spell, so you get a little bit of ice magic on it. If I remember right, it's ice magic. It's sculpted well. I like the translucent plastic for the magic effect. I like how on the pinky finger, the translucent plastic kind of comes off of the finger before it rounds out completely. It just gives a nice little effect to it. Up next are her kind of open palm hands. Again, I don't have any issues with the paint deco. Sculpt looks really good for the to be in scale with the figure that it is. Nothing really bad to say about this. Up next is her set of little, shooter fingers here. Again, you have one with the magic effect, although I'm noticing the skin tone on the magic one is significantly paler. Yeah, they're definitely a different skin tone. Interesting. That's the only pair of hands like that. And around Sypha out, first off, we have this magic blasting right hand, which I love. It's my second favorite. It's very over the top. I like the translucent plastic. It's got a very nice feel to it. I wonder if her arms will be able to support this. We'll have to test that out in a minute here. And then my favorite one, which is her little over the rainbow mid-slash arcway. Yeah, I really like this. Again, translucent plastic looks excellent. Sculpt work looks great. And it's not too brittle. Look at that. It's not really brittle at all. Makes me very disappointed with the rest of this figure. So one thing that I found out immediately is her little, I don't know how many of these hands I've done. I haven't plugged all her hands back in. The fist hands were not like this, but this little ninja star type hand, little ice star, this thing has 0 grip. This thing is, it won't fall out, which I guess is good. But this thing does not click at all, which I mean I guess is okay because the wrists feel incredibly weak, and I feel like maybe it's for the best that this has very, very little traction. Yeah, and putting her little claw hand in, it actually has a little bit more grip to it. So interesting. Also with this, her arm will support it, but you are not going to be able to do anything with it. It's just too heavy. It will just flop back over. So one other thing I found out. Her left claw hand here will not go down in here. I have tried multiple ways. I would have to heat it up to get it to go down, and I'm going to try to do this where I can show you guys without my hands getting in the way. But it will not accept going into that peg slot. It just will not go down, and it's starting to bend, so I cannot get that hand in there. Interesting. Let's try an open palm hand. Yeah, that one's fine. That one actually went there. So you basically have to play around to see which hands will actually even go into. This is interesting because there's so much of her hand. Like you basically just have to have it out to the side and then her looking at it to do anything with this. So guys, I'll be honest, different varying degrees of the hands actually work. Some will not go in. I'm not going to go through all of it. Some will go in, some won't. Some are super loose, some aren't. I don't really know what else to say about it. I'm just going to get into the articulation of this figure and then the scaling and everything. So as for the head, I feel like I'm going to break it doing a full 360. Yeah, I'm going to turn it back. The head joint does not feel great. It feels super tight, it feels incredibly fragile, and I feel like just posing it around, making her look down or making her look up, I'm going to break it. So I'm going to try to leave it. I'm hoping it comes through, but my Sypha's eyes are not even. Her left pupil is significantly higher than her right pupil. But yeah, my left pupil is significantly higher than my right pupil. Our poor girl is just looking all over the place. She got that Shawn Michaels eyes going on. So I mean, it's not a big deal, just a little something I noticed. The figures already have a very stylized anime look. So I kind of expected the eyes. They're not going to look like an in-scale human figure, but it's pretty atrocious. I saw it glaring from the package and still decided to buy it, so I guess that's on me. As for her arm articulation, I guess this will go a full 360. Again, I feel like I'm going to break this figure at any moment. There is a piece of the sculpt here on the soft rubber that will keep her arm from going around there. So also, if you guys wanted to, I guess technically you can pop her head off. Mine did this in one fell swoop, and it did not feel super great, so I'm kind of not going to do that again. I'm assuming if you heat it up first, it might not be so bad. I was just seeing if the heads were interchangeable, and it does not look like there is any sort of that. However, this piece does remove completely if for some reason you would rather display her. Well, she has a giraffe neck, holy God, but I'm sure once I actually were to push that down, it would feel better. But I would not recommend that. This feels incredibly fragile, as does the ball peg here. So I would not recommend doing that unless you're only going to do it once and have it be a one and done. So let's just put that back on there and pretend that never happened. Oh, that feels absolutely awful. Fragile. That's about as far as you can get her elbow bent. It's not very good, especially when a lot of her poses in the show revolve around her bending her arms and doing over-exaggerated motions. You will get a full 360 on the bicep swivel. This figure squeaks like crazy. Full 360 on the hands. Again, hinge. Hands are one of the best things about the figure, but even not all of them will go in. This is soft rubber onto the torso. I think this will go, yeah, this will go full 360. And then to bend her, that's about as far as you bend. As far as you bend back, and I forgot her head, you can get her looking up pretty far and also looking down pretty far. The legs, I don't even know what to tell you guys. If you pull back the actual like rubber pieces, there are articulated legs in here, but that's about as far up as I can get it to move. It goes none back. I can't even get the top joint of the knee to really do anything because you're kicking through the back here. So I don't really have anything good to say about the knee or leg articulation. I'm trying to get that top joint to engage. Hold on, you know what, we're just gonna... What, there's a thigh cut too? Alright, Alright, we're doing it. We're doing it live. Come on, Sypha, bend that knee. She can technically kick her butt. Wait, does this thigh cut even work? Oh, it does. Oh, it feels awful. Alright, now, what? Do we break it? Or is that just tucked under the middle piece? Guys, I don't know what's happening. I think this split loose. Yeah, it had to have. There's no way that just comes off. Okay, well, I'm just going to leave that alone. And we're not even going to try to pose her other leg. Because I feel like this figure is going to fall apart. So, her feet. They go down pretty far. Also go up pretty far. Toe sculpt. Not great, guys. And I kind of just want to be done with this figure. Honest to God, the more I've posed around with, this is the first figure review where the more I pose a figure, the more I just want to stop touching it. The figure stands just over 6 inches tall, which puts her right at about 15 centimeters. 16 centimeters. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't even bother getting all her hands back into frame or anything like that. I honestly don't even know what I'm going to do with this figure. I don't want to touch it, honestly, anymore. The more I touch it, the more I feel like parts of it are going to fall off and break apart. These things were originally listed at a $20 price point. I picked mine up for about $9, and I still feel like I got ripped off. For as much as I love the IP, as much as I love Castlevania, as much as I love the anime, this is absolutely not something that I want to recommend. I don't give 0 to 10 reviews, but just know that buy this at your own discretion. I'm not happy with it. I don't think it's a great figure, and I honestly think like this was probably one of the cheapest cash grabs that I've seen. I'm very disappointed for as much as I love all of it. I'm glad that they didn't have Trevor or Alucard, because I would have bought those two, and then I would have been triple sad instead of just double sad. Not even double sad, single sad. I'm a single sad. So no, absolutely not. I do not recommend this figure. Buy at your own discretion. Triforce has nothing good to say about it. For the first time, Triforce has to give a figure failure. That being said, if you like this figure, maybe I have a really bad one. Maybe mine failed all of its quality control everywhere on the line. It is completely possible. So if you guys like the figure, tell me what I am missing. Tell me what I'm missing below in the comments, because oh, did I want to like this figure, and oh, do I really not even want to put it on my shelf. I have a figure that I bought that I don't even want to go on my shelf. Oh, I still don't feel better. They really, really did Sypha dirty. I'm going to tell you about it. I have an alarm going off. Hear that? It's the bad figure alarm.
See?
Diamond Select Toys
Hates me.
But yeah, guys, in closing, I feel like this is a bootleg figure. I'm not very happy. I don't have anything else bad or good to say about it. You guys know how I feel. Most importantly, I just want you guys to know what you're getting into before you think about purchasing a figure for yourself. But I am going to wrap this up here today. More than anything, if you don't take anything away from the video, aside from the information on the figure, I want you all to remember you are magnificent human beings. You have worth, and this world is a better place with you in it. Take a second, appreciate yourself, smile because you're awesome, I guarantee that. And until next time we meet up on the tracks for our next crazy and wacky figure review, I am Triforce Caboose, the pleasure has been all mine, and I am leaving the station. Be safe and be good people, my friends.